It is early morning in the Palau Islands. Young girls are at the Korora Bai learning the songs of their ancestry. They are taught carefully by a wise Palauan woman who watches and listens patiently. She wants to make sure they know this important aspect of Palauan culture. She knows that someday these girls will be women and will have to pass this traditional knowledge to their children. The ocean surrounding Palau's incredibly beautiful rock islands is like glass, the tranquility broken only by the light drone of an outboard engine. In a small boat, two men on a self-appointed mission. They are looking for historic treasures, gems that have been hidden beneath the sea for portions of 5 decades. In many cases, no man has seen or visited them since they were sunk during a World War II air attack. This quest is a labor of love for the two adventurers. They have spent years seeking out the whereabouts of these coral-laden hulks and won't be satisfied unless they have uncovered the mysteries that remain submerged with the lost fleet of the Rock Islands. While seemingly remote from countries like the United States, Palau has not gone unnoticed by the countries of the Pacific Rim. And following the First World War, this archipelago, rich in exotic life both above and below the surface, became a possession of Japan. Today, the remnants of that occupation are still plentiful. The Japanese brought many innovations to these virtually untouched islands. Great agricultural potential was developed, and the land and sea resources were harvested. Intricate cities were erected. Schools were established. Palauans were taught Japanese in the Japanese way. New religion was introduced. Even today, the remains of a Shinto temple grace the hills in Koror. As the 1930s drew to a close, Palau became militarily fortified, and before Palauans knew it, the island was thrust into another world war. Residents were made to work for the war effort, and life became less bearable as Japan slowly lost its grip on the Western Pacific to the Allied forces. Tiako Boyzek was a teenager during the war days.
To me, I was working for the soldiers. Every day we working. Scrape coconut, put in rubber bag, and then it's one group to the scraped coconut. And the one group come at about 6 o'clock to pick up those scraped coconut to their place and cook it to take the oil. And that's all for the soldiers.
By the start of 1944, Palau had become a strategic target for American military strategists. Palau is the westernmost of the Caroline Islands. From Palau, Japanese used the islands as a supply base for garrisons in the southern Philippines, Indonesia, and Papua New Guinea. As the war progressed, the island became increasingly important since the Japanese naval fleet and aircraft could fly sorties from Palauan bases, endangering the American mission. Operation Desecrate was formed to counter this threat. Allied forces were advancing from Papua New Guinea and the Solomons, and Palau was squarely in the right flank of General MacArthur's axis of advance northward. The Desecrate mission involved a strike of fast carrier forces very deep into Japanese-held territory. On the morning of March 30th, young Boyzek was about to go to school. From his home on nearby Babeldop Island, he watched as planes zeroed in on heavily fortified Koror and the anchorages in Malakal Harbor in the Rock Islands.
We get up in the early morning. We saw so many airplanes flew over us. Then they already strike airfield.
The Fifth Fleet's basic operational plan was simple and effective. Before dawn, carrier-borne aircraft appeared over the targets. First were the fighters, orbiting at stacked altitudes, low, medium, and high. An average of 72 planes flew on each level. Their objective, to gain air superiority, was quickly reached. Japanese planes were sitting ducks on the airfields. Float planes were sunk at their anchorages. Those that did become airborne were vigorously engaged. At the heels of the fighters, successive waves of Avengers, Dauntlesses, and Helldivers would bomb land targets and fire rockets at anchored and steaming ships. On pullout, any target was fair game for strafing, especially anti-aircraft batteries. Unrelenting pressure saw deckload after deckload of planes carry out this well-coordinated operation plan. During the 2 days of March 30th and March 31st, 1944, the superior performance of the Americans was overwhelming. Malakal was a smoking inferno. Disabled ships littered the area. Some sunk, some belching fire and immense slicks of oil, most beyond salvage. The Palauans lived in fear, as Allied planes could not discriminate between natives and their Japanese enemies.
One soldiers came to our place, we working place, and then he tried to explain that the American people really no good, because if they catch you, they don't kill you with a gun. They tie your leg, both leg with one side another horse, one side another horse, and they just pull and kill you. We really scared the American, and that time we hear that Japanese.
Today, the violence and incredible destruction are replaced by tranquility. The diver is immersed in the silence of the blue ocean, descending onto a shadow world which soon reveals the features of a great ship. Resting at bottom, they are at peace, adorned in magnificent coral growth. It is these transformed hulks that have brought together two men from very diverse backgrounds. Francis Torbiong, a Palauan businessman, explorer, and adventurer, and Klaus Lindemann, a marketing manager for an Indonesian corporation and noted shipwreck author of Truck Lagoon fame. But they soon found they have much in common.
I have run into his books from Truck. I heard people talk about the Klaus in Truck, so I'm not really surprised when he showed up. I knew one of these days someone going to show up and do the work, do a lot of major work.
I came here really on a purely vacational basis. I just wanted to enjoy the diving. I heard so much about it, and I knew Francis' name for a long time ago. Unfortunately, I came here to Palau and had a severe case of rectitis. So I immediately infected Francis, and we, ever since, after I did all these beautiful dives on the walls, I asked Francis to show me some of the wrecks, and he pointed out the wrecks he found himself, and we were diving every wreck known then.
Their self-appointed mission started in late 1987 and was to ultimately culminate in a book. Accuracy for history's sake was the goal, to locate, identify, and describe the historic treasures of Palau, a goal for which they sacrificed money and time and became obsessed. The search for shipwrecks took Torbiong and Lindemann to many venues, covering the Palau archipelago from north to south and east to west. Many dead ends resulted from tracking down leads, but others were extremely fruitful. A search for sunken ships is not necessarily conducted on the ocean. At times, the two find themselves seeking the aerial perspective. Attack photos were taken from the American planes, and locating the target of one of the planes at times requires getting a bird's eye view.
I wish we just have an airplane ourselves, we can fly the altitude where the pilots were flying, and really get the feeling of this ground.
Reenact it.
Reenact on it, so we can really say where is the wreck, what is the wreck. And we've been working for many years, and we're still finding out there's a lot more wrecks.
The quest for the shipwrecks often requires a plane to see wreck sites from the air. That is how the reefer and the Gozan were found.
Francis chartered the plane for a morning or whatever it was, and we flew circles around it, and then all of a sudden he says in Malacca anchorage, "Hey, what's this?" There was a big, huge net in a certain shadow, and we didn't know about this, so next day we went there and we dove in this, and lo and behold, there was the reefer.
While some of the wrecks are upright and fairly intact, others are twisted hulks. Many were salvaged after the war and indiscriminately blown apart. Others were destroyed by massive explosions during the attack. It takes a keen eye and a lot of patience to figure out just what happened and just which ship it is.
Well, it's a little bit like Sherlock Holmes, elementary. You know, if you have to know a little bit about ships and how they were built and what they do and what a bomb does, what a torpedo does, and what an internal explosion means when ammunition goes off. And in most cases we are able to put the pieces together. It gets a little bit difficult if the salvagers have blown the ship apart, because you really don't know the difference between a salvager and a real bomb.
Mangled wrecks present a definite challenge, but two ships in Palau are totally upside down. Exploration can be described as disorienting at best. The Teixeira Meru's hull has become a garden of sea whips. Outside it is a marvel to explore. Inside, its holds are huge caverns. The Iro is located close to Koror, but it is less hospitable and decorated. Exploring its innards is not for the faint of heart.
And eventually, you spend 20, 30 minutes, you don't think about it anymore. It's just automatically upside down.
That's right. And like when we went into that bomb damage, and we went right into the wreck, into the engine room, and there it is, a big vertical triple expansion, you know, huge machines, and all their other generators and stuff like this. So after a while, you really think they're right side up, right?
And it just reminded me of my good old mother sewing machine, you know, working with your leg. Everything is...
Big sewing machine, for
big
sure.
sewing machine, yes.
What may represent the greatest challenge is identifying those ships that have been totally salvaged. There are few pieces of the puzzle. They are also not as blessed with marine life as an intact ship. Yet for the sake of accuracy, they must be dissected and researched.
We want to document exactly as we can where the ships went down and which ships went down where. Consequently, if there is a wreck site which we haven't explored yet, we have no idea what it is. Was it a tanker? Was it a freighter? Was it a small ship? Was it a big ship? And so we don't really know. And as a consequence, we want to really make sure that we match wreck sites with the actual wreck. And sometimes all what's left is some plates and some hatch cover beams. You measured one the other day, and from measuring the hatch cover beam, you can already deduce how big the ship was. And things like this. So it's important for the book as a documentation to be precise as we can, because there are no records exactly which ship went down where.
There have been others called upon to aid in this project of documenting the Desecrate 1 raid. Palauan divers from Torbjorn's staff have added many hours in the search.
The drawing then is getting fairly accurate.
Larry Walders is an undersea artist who is helping to illustrate the Desecrate 1 book. Due to heavy concentrations of nutrients in the waters of the Rock Islands, the ships cannot be seen in their entirety by divers. To get around this phenomena, called marine snow, Walders sketches section by section to obtain a completed picture of the wreck. Lindemann then compares the sketches to his notes to hone the final details. Readers can then get a good look at what the ships look like today. The reward of this work, finding an untouched shipwreck, one that has not been visited by man since its sinking on those fateful days of March 1944. One such ship was the Chuyo, It was discovered amazingly close to the main boat channel near Malakal Harbor. It's an undersea garden of sponges, clams, brilliant reef fish, and black coral. The most recent find, the Urukami Maru, discovered as a result of an educated guess. It was just Lindemann and Boyzek in the boat on the morning of April 6, 1990.
We are right here right now, okay? And we want to go here where the Matuai is, so we want to go try to hit this spot, this area. That's right. So we are right. We are looking right into this area. That is this little island there, the south side of it. Okay. So we have to find an echo of some. So I said, just go the straight line, and I had figured out in my room with a straight line that this would lead us over that particular spot. So we went, and Tjekel just got his boat into planing, and we were not gone for 10 minutes, and all of a sudden we had a very, very sharp spike in the recorder. And I asked Tjekel sort of politely to turn around, which he did, threw my gear almost overboard and me following it. And we went to the same spot, and then finally we latched onto a big shadow.
And then the clouds went down. We dropped the anchor, and the clouds went down, and came up and said, yeah, this is a rig.
And by being curious, I figured I'd, just look over the stern, see whether there would be any name. And there was, much to my surprise. I could figure out the letters R-A-K-A in that sequence, Raka. And I had a long decompression time, so during that decompression time I had ample time to think what kind of ship contains the word Raka.
So next day we come here, check again, and found the name on the stern. It's Urakami.
After 4 years of search and research, Lindemann feels confident most of the victims of Desecrate 1 have been found. But for a wreck diver, there's always one more to be found.
We still have things to do. There are certain ships which we haven't found, like a medium-sized tanker, the Sashio. Sashio hasn't been found yet. So.
And somebody just told me Singsai
Maru.
Singsai Maru.
And we are looking for 2 planes now. That one right. Just off the ramp.
Just north of the ramp.
North the ramp. Right.
And we happened to find the Japanese...
yeah, the biplane. Yeah.
Biplane, just north of the ramp also. So
right.
There's full of surprise, this water here.
You're right.
Yes. Kyangle Atoll may be one of the tropical wonders of the world. Its pristine natural beauty is without rival. It sits north of Palau's mainland. As the island Bobbledop slowly disappears on the horizon, the Kyangle Atoll will appear. On a clear, flat day, a boat driver can see the reflection of the reefs surrounding the atoll and actually navigate using the clouds in the sky. North of Kyangle is Velasco Reef. Some speculate there is oil beneath the sunken atoll. Torbjörn and Lindemann wanted to explore this site, but first, proper respect had to be shown to Kyangle's chief, who promptly bowled Lindemann over by reciting a German phrase that he could have learned only prior to the First World War.
Ali!
Der ist ein guter Mann. Der lebt in Berlin. Das ist in so far von hier.
Das ist nicht so weit hier von hier.
Look to my hand.
Ja.
The clip the clothes.
Hurra, hurra, hurra. Congratulations. That's great.
Number one.
Number one, yeah. And he greeted me with a very, very old German imperial Kaiser greeting. That was quite funny.
The journey to the wreck site, identified by Lindemann as the destroyer Samudare, can be marked by wild waves and open ocean. On this day, the sea was cooperative, and the vast northern reef became a fishbowl ready for exploration. A few curious visitors did not sway the divers from finding the remnants of the ship, including a machine gun and some scattered shells.
We got to the Samudare, latched onto the Samudare, because I read that she had sunk in the Velasco Reef, and subsequently I was torpedoed by a submarine, the USS Batfish. And it broke into two, the Samudare broke into two, and the aft part slipped off. And I had hoped it would slip off the reef and we would discover an intact aft part, but we were a little bit out of luck there. When we finally found the wreckage, everything had been blown to pieces, everything which was salvageable had been salvaged, and the Japanese blew the foreship up, so there was absolutely nothing left except for the most massive parts like the shaft and so on and so forth. So in as much as the trip was not successful, it was the more delightful.
The return trip takes travelers past Karamadu Bay, as the Japanese called it, or Narmadu Bay, as the Palauans refer to it today. It is up this valley that a vast river splits. This was a major agricultural region at one time, responsible for feeding Palau and providing exports to Japan. In the field near an abandoned pineapple cannery, the remnants of a lost Japanese Zero fighter sit.
It's part of the cockpit.
All right.
Yeah, you know, sliding canopy.
Yeah.
Sliding canopy.
God, it's amazing how much of it's still there. Yeah. Even the locks back here, look at the rollers are still in good shape. Coffee darn. The rollers are all still there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Put it in there. Yeah, you got it.
See the bullet holes there?
Yeah.
Punched out.
Whew. Oh, arigatou gozaimasu.
What's that?
Cock size. Yeah, same as Malahal lighthouse.
Same as Urakami.
High on a hill overlooking the bay, huge guns, the same as those on the Urakami Maru, guard the lush jungles below. Through talk with village elders, Torbjorn gathers bits and pieces of information that may result in finding a lost ship. Their recollections provide valuable oral history to the Palau wreck research.
I sort of get this coconut news vine going around in town. Said the wreck was sunk here, the wreck was sunk there. Then he finally showed up, and then we put it all together. So what we do, I sort of try to feel the conversation that I pick it up from other people, and then we look at the chart and sort of think about if the captain were around, how he moved the ship. You know, if I'm the captain of this vessel, how I'm going to hide, or where shall I anchor the boat?
It is along this river that the Kiko destroyer sits. The thick mangroves filter the rich nutrients that run off the hills. It is in this lush setting that Palau's saltwater crocodiles thrive. They are found here in greater numbers than anywhere else. This adds to the suspense when divers enter the low visibility of the brackish green water to check the condition of the small destroyer that is scattered along the slope to about 80 feet below.
She was running together with the subchaser out to the pass, and got strafed by hellcats to the extent that she had a lot of oil, lost a lot of oil, and probably also had some fatalities. So the skipper decided not to pursue the outside to the pass, but turn around together with the subchaser and went to, what is it, Karamadu Bay, yeah?
That's right.
Midships, you have a gun platform, but the actual 12-centimeter gun, which was the original armament, was removed and a 25-millimeter anti-aircraft gun installed in its stead. And there is a lot of, what is it, 2 boxes of ammo?
Yeah, I think so.
2 boxes of these 25-millimeter anti-aircraft ammunition. That's big. And interesting, it's between that larger forward funnel, which is subdivided because it serves 2 boilers and has this grill to protect it, and the aft funnel, which is more mangled and is only serving 1 boiler, is roundish sort of thing.
With their book finished, the quest is all but complete, but there is still one challenge, that of ongoing conservation and preservation of the historical and marine treasures of the shipwrecks of the lost World War II fleet.
During our lifetime, we have destroyed enough of anything that nothing remained for our children.
Right.
And it's a great thing that we can preserve these things for our future people and children.
You see, once I said, a wreck is a little bit like an abandoned house. I would go a step further. I would say a wreck in a way is a time capsule. It shows you the life, or it shows you, when it was constructed, how it was constructed, how it was put together, and all the people lived there, the crew, and nautical instruments and plates and other things. Trivial things sometimes, but nevertheless they're there. In many instances, when people bring things up, they actually destroyed it indirectly as they don't conserve these materials, and they crumble and become dust, and they're gone.
See, I was born right after the war. I saw a lot of evidence of war. So when we talk about the wrecks, I can sort of relate it to that.
Right.
When I think of my children, they have no relationship to the last war. Maybe they talk about the present war. So it has very sentimental value to me that I want to share and live for my children.